Hotshot Horror by Mr. Copper. The load paid too well for me to turn it down. That should have been my first warning. I was hauling a compact track loader from a rental yard outside Little Rock to a contractor somewhere north of the Ozarks. 8,000 pounds of yellow steel sitting on a 40-foot gooseneck trailer. Chains tight, binders locked, tires aired up, lights working, everything checked twice because mistakes get expensive when they weigh 4 tons. The delivery window was 6 the next morning. Dispatch called it an easy overnight run. Dispatchers call everything easy when they aren't the ones hauling it. I picked up the machine a little after 8 and pulled out before 9. The truck was nearly new. Black 1-ton diesel. More torque than I needed and more electronics than I trusted. I had spent enough on it that my wife called it my midlife crisis. I told her most midlife crises couldn't tow 20,000 pounds. She didn't laugh. I did. By 10:30, I was northbound with a full tank, hot coffee, and 4 hours of sleep pretending to be enough. The interstate stayed quiet until just after midnight. Then traffic stopped. Not slowed, stopped. Brake lights stretched around a bend and disappeared into the dark. I eased down on the brakes and felt the trailer settle behind me. The navigation screen showed solid red for 12 miles. Then a message popped up. Major delay, alternate route available. I stared at it. The smart move was to wait. The delivery had a hard appointment, though, and missing it meant sitting until Monday. Motel, extra fuel, lost work, and a contractor calling dispatch every 20 minutes like I had personally wrecked the interstate. So I tapped the alternate route. The screen recalculated, then told me to take the next exit. The detour started normally enough. 2-lane highway, small towns, closed gas stations glowing under fluorescent lights. Then the towns thinned out. The center stripe faded. The houses disappeared. By 1:15, the navigation had me turning onto a county road I had never heard of. I slowed at the intersection. The road ahead vanished between tall trees. No streetlights, no houses, no shoulders worth mentioning. Just cracked asphalt and a small green road marker leaning sideways in the ditch. The screen said 47 miles. One road, no turns. I looked at the trailer in the mirror. The machine sat straight, chains still tight. Easy money, I said. Then I turned onto the county road. The trees closed around me almost immediately. My headlights reached far enough to show the pavement and not much else. The forest stood thick on both sides, trunks packed close together, branches arching over the road. The pavement was narrow, not dangerous narrow. Just narrow enough that I had to pay attention every time the trailer drifted toward the edge. I kept my speed around 45. The truck felt good. The load felt steady. That helped. A good truck will make a man forgive a bad road longer than he should. After 10 miles, I realized I hadn't passed another vehicle. No headlights, no taillights. No porch lights through the trees. Nothing. Even the radio had faded into static. I switched stations twice before shutting it off. Silence filled the cab. Engine hum, tire noise, the soft rattle of chains behind me. Then I saw the first animal. A raccoon lay near the white line, split open from throat to belly. I eased left and passed it. Roadkill happens. Ugly, but ordinary. A few miles later, I saw a deer in the ditch. This one had not been hit by a car. Its ribs were exposed. The hindquarters were missing. The rest of it looked placed there. I slowed without meaning to. There was no blood on the pavement, no skid marks, no drag trail I could see. Just the deer. I kept moving. Coyotes, I said. That explanation held for maybe 5 minutes. Then my headlights caught 2 dead coyotes hanging over a guardrail, one on each side of the post, front legs dangling toward the road. Their bodies had been opened from the chest down. I took my foot off the throttle. The truck dropped to 35. For one stupid second, I considered stopping. Then I looked at the trees. Black trunks, thick brush, no movement, no sound. Nothing good ever starts with getting out of a truck at 1:30 in the morning beside gutted animals. I put my foot back down. The diesel pulled us forward. The road dipped into a low stretch where fog lay across the pavement. Not thick, just enough to turn the headlights white. I leaned toward the windshield. The navigation screen flickered once, then steadied. 31 miles remaining. Straight ahead, no turns. The fog thinned. Something pale flashed near the passenger side ditch. Too low to be a person, too large to be a dog. By the time I turned my head, it was gone. I checked the mirror. Nothing. Fine, I said. My voice sounded smaller than I expected. A mile later, I saw another carcass. This one was big, a black bear, or what was left of one. It lay half off the road with its stomach torn open and one front leg twisted backward. I had never seen anything do that to a bear. I stayed centered in the lane and drove past. As the headlights moved over it, the bear's body shifted. Not much. Just a small movement along the ribs, like something underneath it had crawled deeper inside. I felt the hair rise along both arms. I pressed the accelerator. The truck gained speed. The trailer followed. 26 miles remaining. The road bent slightly right. As I came through the curve, something stood between the trees on the driver's side. Tall, thin, pale from the chest up. I only saw it for a second. Long enough to know it was standing upright. Long enough to know its arms hung too low. Then it was behind me. I looked in the mirror. Dark road, nothing else. I kept both hands on the wheel. Not stopping, I said. The truck rolled deeper into the forest. For the next few miles, I saw nothing. That was worse. I started checking the mirrors too often. Driver's side, passenger side, rear camera, road ahead. Again, again, again. 21 miles remaining. Then something struck the trailer. One hard metallic bang. The truck jerked. I tightened my grip and fought the wheel. The trailer stayed straight. The machine remained centered. Chains looked tight. I checked the rear camera. For half a second, something pale clung to the back corner of the trailer. Then it dropped out of view. I looked in the mirror. A shape hit the pavement, rolled once, then rose onto all fours. The truck was doing 43. The thing started running. Not toward the road. Beside it, keeping pace in the ditch. Another shape appeared farther ahead. Then another. Pale bodies moving between the trees. Too fast. Too smooth. One of them came close enough for the headlights to catch its face. There wasn't one. Just a smooth white surface where the features should have been. I pressed the pedal. The diesel answered. The trailer pulled hard behind me. The speedometer climbed. 48, 52, 55. The shapes moved faster. I could see them now on both sides, running through brush that should have slowed anything with bones. One struck the trailer again. The sound rang through the night. Another grabbed at the track loader's bucket and vanished beneath the trailer. I didn't brake. I didn't swerve. I kept the truck straight and buried my foot deeper into the pedal. The road ahead stretched black between the trees. 17 miles remaining, and whatever lived in that forest had decided to follow me out. The first one came out of the ditch low and fast. It threw itself beneath the passenger side rear wheels. The truck jumped. Something struck the axle, followed by a wet, grinding thump beneath the trailer. I kept my foot down. A second creature lunged at the same side. It hit the outside dual and disappeared beneath the wheels. The steering wheel kicked in my hands. Then a third shape came alongside the rear fender. This one didn't throw itself under. It ran beside the truck. Its legs moved too quickly, knees bending at sharp angles as it matched me at 55 miles an hour. Then it opened its mouth. Even from the mirror, I could see the teeth. Hundreds of them. Tiny, thin, packed together like needles in a brush. It snapped at the outside tire. For one clear second, I saw those teeth sink into the sidewall. Then the spinning wheel dragged its head down. The creature vanished beneath the truck. Something hammered against the underside of the trailer. 5 seconds later, the tire exploded. The blast shook the cab. Rubber began beating the wheel well hard enough to sound like someone swinging a sledgehammer under the bed. The trailer kicked toward the shoulder. I corrected carefully and held it straight. One outside dual gone. The inner tire was still carrying the weight. Expensive problem, not a stopping problem. I kept moving. The remaining tire on that side groaned under the load. The truck leaned slightly right, but it still responded. Still pulled, still gave me options. The creatures ran along both sides of the road. Some moved upright. Others dropped onto all fours when they needed more speed. One climbed onto the trailer, long fingers hooking over the edge. Another leaped for the track loader and struck the bucket with a hollow metallic boom. I watched it scramble across the yellow steel and the rear camera, its limbs folded beneath it like a spider's. Then something hit the passenger door. The whole cab rocked. I drifted toward the center line and corrected. The creature rose beside the window. For the first time, I got a good look at one. Its skin was gray-white and stretched tight over a narrow skull. 2 small black eyes sat deep in its face. No whites, no pupils, just 2 wet black beads. Below them, its mouth stretched across half its head. It opened wider against the glass. Rows of tiny needle teeth filled the inside. Far too many teeth for anything that size. It struck the door again. The metal buckled inward. Then it grabbed the passenger mirror. The mirror folded forward. Plastic cracked. The entire assembly tore away from the door, leaving wires whipping against the side of the truck. The creature dropped behind me with it. Now the passenger side was gone. No mirror. No clear view of the damaged tires. No way to see what was climbing up beside me until it reached the window. Son of a bitch. I checked the rear camera. The picture shook with the truck. One creature still clung to the loader. Another crawled along the gooseneck toward the cab. I tapped the trailer brake control. The trailer brakes grabbed hard. The rig jerked. The creature on the gooseneck pitched forward, struck the front rail, and disappeared beneath the trailer. I released the control. The truck surged ahead again. The remaining creature held on. The navigation screen read 14 miles. Straight road, no turns. The forest continued pressing in from both sides. The inner rear tire began to make a different sound. Not the heavy slap of loose rubber, a low rhythmic thump. I felt it through the seat before I understood it. The truck started pulling right. I eased the wheel left. The thump became faster, harder. Then the second tire exploded. The rear of the truck dropped on the passenger side. Rubber tore loose and hammered against the fender. The trailer snapped sideways, shoving the truck toward the center line. I corrected fast, not too fast. Too much steering with that load behind me would fold the rig in half. "Damn it," I said. "They got the second one?" Both passenger side duals were gone. Now I was riding steel. The grinding started immediately. Low at first, a heavy dragging sound beneath the bed. Then the rim reached clean pavement and began to scream. Metal against asphalt. Loud enough to cut through the diesel, the wind, and the impacts against the trailer. Sparks poured from beneath the passenger side. I saw them flickering along the road behind me through the driver's mirror. The creatures saw them too. Shapes began spilling out of the trees. 5, 10, more farther back. The noise was calling them in. The truck kept moving, but the speedometer began dropping. 48, 44, 41. I pressed harder on the pedal. The engine answered, but the ruined wheel dragged against it. The trailer felt heavier with every second. Something hit the rear corner. Another shape grabbed the loader's bucket. The chain snapped tight. The binder jumped. The track loader shifted a few inches. That was enough to make the trailer lean. I eased the steering left and held it there. No sudden moves. No brakes. The speedometer fell below 40. 37. 34. The rim screamed louder. The truck shook hard enough to blur the dashboard. I could hear metal beginning to break apart beneath me. The creatures were closing. One ran beside the driver's window. Its black eyes turned toward me. Its mouth opened. It smiled. 31. 29. The front of the truck still had traction. The rear was becoming an anchor. Oh, fuck that. I reached down and turned the four-wheel drive selector. The dash light blinked. Once, twice, then stayed solid. 4 high. I slammed the pedal to the floor. The diesel roared. The turbo wound up with a whistle like a jet engine. Power hit the front axle. The front tires broke loose, spinning and burning rubber before they caught. The steering wheel jerked in my hands. The truck lunged forward. The trailer fought it. The ruined rims shrieked against the asphalt. Something beneath the bed broke with a metallic crack. I didn't care what. The speedometer climbed. 28, 31, 34. The front tires clawed at the pavement, dragging the truck, trailer, track loader, and what remained of the rear wheel through the darkness. Smoke rolled past the cab. The engine howled. The whole rig shook like it was tearing itself apart. But it kept pulling. I laughed once. Short. Wild. Mostly because I was terrified. I knew buying the new truck was worth the money. A creature leapt onto the loader. I caught it in the rear camera, long arms wrapped around the machine's cab. Its little black eyes stared directly into the lens. Then another climbed onto the trailer beside it. The first creature opened its mouth and bit at one of the chains. The chain snapped tight. The loader shifted again. The trailer leaned toward the shoulder. I held the wheel steady. The second creature crawled across the loader's roof, lowering itself toward the front of the trailer, toward the truck. I hit the trailer brake control again. Hard. The trailer brakes grabbed. The rear of the truck jerked backward while the front axle kept pulling. Both creatures pitched forward. One struck the gooseneck and vanished beneath the trailer. The other clawed at the loader's roof, held on for a second, then rolled off the side. I released the brake control. The truck surged ahead. Not tonight. The navigation screen read 9 miles. The road began to slope downward. Not much at first. just enough for gravity to join my side. The speed climbed. 38, 42, 46. The rim was no longer grinding smoothly. It was coming apart. Every rotation struck the pavement with a hammering clang. Pieces of metal flew into the ditch. The rear corners sagged lower. I knew what could happen next. The hub could fail. The axle could break. The wheel could separate. The trailer could come around and roll the whole rig. Every outcome was expensive. Most were survivable. Stopping was not. The creatures began falling behind. Not all of them. A few still kept pace, but the distance was growing. The grade became steeper. Trees rushed past on both sides. The trailer pushed hard behind me. I feathered the steering and kept everything straight. Then something stepped into the road at the bottom of the hill. Tall, pale, larger than the others. Its arms hung nearly to its knees. Two small black eyes fixed on the truck. Its mouth opened across half its face. Rows of needle teeth glistened in the headlights. It planted both feet on the center line, waiting, expecting me to brake. The pedal was already flat against the floor. I pushed it harder anyway. The diesel screamed. The turbos shrieked. The trailer began to sway behind me. I started laughing, not because anything was funny, because the stupid bastard thought I was stopping. "You picked the wrong truck," I yelled. The creature crouched. I tightened both hands on the wheel. "You stupid bastard." It opened its mouth wider. "I ain't stopping." Then I hit it. The front of the truck dropped with a violent bang. The hood jumped. Something slammed beneath the frame, hard enough to lift me against the seat belt. The trailer hit it a second later. That impact was worse. The whole rig bucked sideways. The loader shifted against the chains. The trailer started coming around. I held the wheel straight and kept my foot buried. No brakes, no swerving, no looking back. The truck fought me for another 100 yards before settling. Something dragged beneath the trailer. Then it broke loose. The road behind me filled with sparks and darkness. I kept driving. The forest began thinning. Not all at once. The trees just stopped crowding the road. The branches pulled back. The pavement widened. A center line appeared beneath the headlights. Then I saw a mailbox, a driveway, a porch light glowing through the trees. I laughed again, quieter this time, mostly because I could. The navigation screen said 3 miles. Every warning light on the dash was on. Check engine, ABS, traction control, tire pressure, 4-wheel drive. A few symbols I had never seen before. The truck had run out of polite ways to tell me I had ruined it. The engine temperature sat just below red. The steering pulled hard to the passenger side. Every turn of the ruined wheel sent a heavy clang through the floor. The truck was still moving. That was all I cared about. The first gas station appeared at the edge of a small town. Bright canopy lights, 4 pumps, a glowing open sign in the window. It looked like the most beautiful place I had ever seen. I eased off the throttle. The truck slowed reluctantly. The grinding from the rear became louder as the engine noise dropped away. People turned to watch me pull in. I couldn't blame them. Sparks were still trailing behind the passenger side rear wheel. I rolled beneath the canopy and stopped beside the far pump. For a few seconds, I stayed in the seat. Hands locked around the steering wheel, engine ticking, warning chimes going off one after another. I turned the key. The diesel shuddered and went quiet. The sudden silence pressed against my ears. I looked through the windshield. A man standing beside the next pump had frozen with the nozzle in his hand. He stared at the truck, then at me. I opened the door and climbed out. My legs nearly folded. I caught myself against the side of the cab and stood there until the shaking eased. The passenger door was caved inward. The mirror was gone. Wires hung from the mounting hole. Long scratches ran from the front fender to the back of the bed. The grille was bent. One headlight pointed toward the ground. Dark fluid streaked the bumper and disappeared beneath the truck. I walked around to the passenger side. Both rear tires were gone. Not flat, gone. Rubber hung in strips from the wheel well. The outer rim had been ground down into a jagged silver crescent. The inner rim was split. Part of the hub had turned blue from heat. The trailer looked almost as bad. Deep gouges ran along both sides. One fender was folded inward. The loader had shifted several inches, but the chains had held. One binder was bent. Another chain had tiny marks pressed into the steel. Hundreds of them, close together, like teeth. I stared at those marks for a while. Then I looked back toward the road. The forest was nowhere in sight, just scattered houses, power lines, a pale strip of morning forming along the horizon. The gas station door opened behind me. A clerk stepped outside holding a cup of coffee. He took one look at the truck and stopped. "What the hell happened to you?" I looked over the damage again, every ruined tire, every bent panel, every scar along the trailer. Through the windshield, I could still see the dash glowing with warning lights. I put one hand against the truck's front fender. The metal was hot. "Damn good truck," I said. The truck was totaled. The load was late. I was alive. I'd call that a win.